Hello, this is Daniel Zwain for public speaking class at Full Sail University. This is my reaction to public speaking class as a whole. So my thought process when going into public speaking was the same as many people's. I was skeptical. I mean, public speaking online, how is that supposed to work? Unfortunately, I don't believe this online method to be a very effective way to combat public speaking and the fear and anxiety that you have with it. My reasoning is that while public speaking is delivering a speech to an audience, which we certainly do, we deliver our speeches to the computer as opposed to a physical, tangible audience. And to me, that's a difference maker. People will give a speech far differently when they actually have a physical entity, a physical audience, multiple people in front of them to present it to. Even if you have only one person to present it to, you're going to give that speech much differently than you are when you're just doing it onto a computer screen. I mean, I find it much easier to just talk to the screen and not have to worry about who's watching me, what are they thinking about my speech, the judgments, all of that. As opposed to when I'm giving a speech to an actual physical audience, it becomes, I don't know if they're liking what I'm speaking, they're not listening to me, all of those questions pop into your mind. When you give a speech to the computer screen, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, I notice a lot of people just read off a sheet. You know, they just, since you have nobody actually judging you as you're giving the speech, let's say a lot of anxiety gets off your mind. I did like the fact that we got to make our own visual presentations and visual aids. I loved it that we got to do a lot of our speeches on subject matter that we liked, as opposed to subjects that were picked by the professor. I mean, I have no offense to the professor's sense of taste, but usually it's something that that students don't like. I mean, I personally rarely like what my professor picks that I have to give a presentation on. So the fact that I got to make presentations on what I enjoyed, like my John Carpenter speech, he's my favorite director of all time, I loved the fact that I got to make a whole presentation on him. Plus, this class has actually helped improve my preparation skills and my thought process when I deliver a speech, because I normally don't do things the same way I do in this class. Usually when I give a speech, I wouldn't give the more direct and personal touch that I do, but I like to make the audience feel like I'm actually speaking to them rather than reading off a prepared sheet. I mean, I admit I do actually have a prepared sheet that I glance over at time and time just so I know and bullet point what I'm talking about, but I can still finesse it to make it feel like I'm speaking to you, like you're actually in front of me. When it comes to public speaking, I have no issue with making eye contact. I don't find it very hard to look somebody in the eye when I talk to them. I also don't find it difficult to mess up my speech lines when I give a speech. I mean, I do put a lot of work into preparing for a speech. I didn't experience any technical problems this month either, which makes me very glad. I'm very thankful that I didn't experience any of that. I do know a lot of people that have experienced technical problems in the past, and I'm very glad that none of that happened to me. Usually I do have very bad luck, so. I like to say that my strength with public speaking would be how I deliver it and my preparation skills. I do a lot of extensive research on what I'm presenting, and when I give a speech, I don't like to make it feel like I'm reading a prepared copy of something. I actually like to make it feel like I'm talking to somebody that's right in front of me. It gives it a more direct, more personal touch. Sadly, I have to give this class a low rating. From a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, I'm going to give this class a 2. In my opinion, the biggest problem was the fact that we're presenting to a digital audience instead of a physical one. As I said before, this is a difference maker. You know, people act drastically different when they're alone. And when they don't have to give a presentation to someone that's actually in front of them, the anxiety, the fear that they have is going to be completely lifted. They don't have people actively judging them right on the spot. And the fact that that we're just recording a video that anybody could watch at any time, we could really, you know, not care what the opinion is after the video is made. As opposed to when you're actually giving a speech in front of people and they're judging you on the spot, it's much different. You actually have people that are listening to you right now, that are watching you right now, that are judging you right now. So in my opinion, the fact that we don't actually do that in this class really doesn't help our cause, our case here. I mean, I think that if we actually had where we actually had a lecture where we would meet. I mean, we don't have to have a lab or anything, but if we had a lecture where we meet and we actually presented to our whole class, I think that would greatly help out, because a lot of people, I notice at Full Sail, do have fear of public speaking, and the fact that we have to give presentations in the industry is a really big problem, that we don't do public speaking to an audience in front of us that's really right there. Because, I mean, when you're out there, it's very rare that you're going to give a presentation, through a video. You're more than likely going to have to walk up to a board of people and present right in front of them. And they're going to be sitting there, they're going to be watching you, judging you. That's going to be a lot on your mind. It'd be best to know how to combat that fear and not be afraid of it now, rather than start to deal with it in the workplace. This has been Daniel Zwain, and I hope you've enjoyed my presentations this month, and I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.